meeting of the sanitary district held at 5:30 p.m. This is being recorded. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:30. The first item is approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Oh, second.
Any discussion? Changes, modifications? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Great. All right. We have no guests tonight. No public comments, board questions, comments, or discussion.
I did want to bring something up. I have been pondering again emergency procedures at the district. And would just like sometime to talk about scenarios and what we would do in certain instances. And I don't know, for example, if we ever had to shut the plant down, what the process for that looks like. I'm not against 24/7 unless it's a disaster.
There is no shutdown process. It's not allowed to shut down.
Well, in the event of a Cascadia subduction event, this is my brain, right? I imagine power goes out, the generators kick in. There's been a slide on the Happy Camp Road. The line is severed, but Netarts pump station somehow survives being inundated and is pumping sewage out the end of the broken pipe. I'm just making shit up.
Well, you kind of are. That it would have to take out Happy Camp Road to even get close. The rest of this force main from Happy Camp Road and the parking lot is directional drilled deep underground. And it doesn't surface until you get up to the south end of the capes, where those rocks are all sitting, where that little pullover is, where you could follow Fall Creek.
Yeah.
That's where it surfaces next. And then it runs along the roadway there, just on the other side of the ditch. Then it runs all the way up to the top.
I thought you said once at some event when the road went out that the force main was hanging out in the air.
No, long before I came here, and there was a slide on the south end of the Capes development that took out that original alignment of the force main. So they had to connect to it down on the beach. We have pictures of it, and they had to run basically fire hose is kind of what it looked like. It wasn't, it was for sewer. And they had to connect it on the beach and then back up by 131 there until they could dig in and put a new replacement line. But that's all been abandoned. And no, it doesn't take that same path.
Okay. Well, I was just I was making up a scenario. I don't know, for example, what the procedures are if there's a fire that sweeps up over the hill and comes here. If there's an event that happens at night and none of the folks can get here because the roads are gone, the bridge is out at Tillamook River, what happens? I'm just making stuff up.
Right? No. You're talking about total disaster.
Yeah. Right. I I'm feeling like part of my job as a board member is to say, well, what if? What do we have a plan?
Well, we have emergency plans for putting in if the treatment plant was to fail. So mechanically here, something fails, we have a plan that we would bring in tanks and stuff like that and have it going within 48 hours. If that was a scenario, but that's if it had a major failure, if a tank cracked, those type of things. If you lose the main pump station down below, there's nothing going to come.
That's true.
It's just going to sit here and idle. At that point, we could probably shut it off because there won't be anything pumped into it unless we can find ways to have trucks And that's in our emergency preparedness plan. Have trucks truck it like from the Netarts pump station through the back road up to here.
Yeah,
And then we would have to offload it into the lagoon, return it through the plant pump station and to the headworks of back. It depends on, because you're talking complete catastrophic failure. And by
As one of the scenarios.
one is there.
yeah. So we would have to evaluate at that time what infrastructure we have left
Yeah,
and what's operational. And I mean, there are ways and back roads, if they're not ruined, to get trucks and truck sewer, it will be limited.
mhm,
At that point, we're going to assume that there's a limited population that'll be contributing anyway.
mhm. So, yeah, I mean, I was just wanting to have a conversation sometime, maybe when the chief's here. Because he's good at imagining things going catastrophically.
We could do that during the workshop.
Yeah,
So we do have an emergency preparedness plan.
yeah, I've looked at it.
Okay.
And I, you know, it just seemed to me like we could probably as a group come up with scenarios.
It's theme limited,
Yeah,
is what you're
that's
saying.
what I'm saying. Yeah. And I don't know whether or not anybody else thinks it would be useful exercise.
I think it would be good to review it. Whatever plan we have, and with the chief here.
Yeah.
My issue has always been, even in not such a catastrophic, but, right above the pump station that's down below,
Mhm.
that road's gonna go even at a gentle shake.
Mhm.
So you got that, and then the spot above Happy Camp.
Mhm.
And so to get here, you're gonna hopefully be able to go through Cape Mears
Mhm.
and come the back way.
Or come up some of these logging roads. I don't know. Yeah.
But
And all bets are off if the Tillamook River Bridge is down.
we're assuming that would happen if those other roads went.
Right.
What?
We're isolated then.
Yeah,
And none of you guys live on this side of the,
Nick,
no.
Nick
lives
does,
in Netarts.
Nick does.
Yep, you're running everything.
We've looked at, in our emergency preparedness plan, we've looked at failures of our equipment
Mhm.
and replacement and where we go to get, which we probably should look at updating that anyway, just like the, facility plan should be also updated.
Well, particularly since it's taking us a
Yeah.
lot longer to get stuff these days.
So this is why we also have spare pumps.
Yeah.
We have some spare parts, but if we lose large force mains, large conveyance lines, large gravity lines, doesn't matter if your pump station's intact, if nothing's left feeding it. And the same thing with treatment plant. We're at over 450 feet elevation here.
Mhm.
So anything that we try to treat for the community will be trucked in if we have those kind of failures, if there's roads. You brought up the bridge at Tillamook. Tillamook River Road, that will cut them off coming that way. They could come Fraser if there's Fraser.
Yeah.
And so there are ways, but you don't know what's I've been here, you were here for the storm of 2007.
Yeah.
When all the wind blew all the trees down. We had to out there all night cutting trees just to cut grooves in them, sections just to get the trucks through. And then we hauled diesel to the generators by 5-gallon cans that we could carry. So it's just a slow way to lose the battle.
we could go on and on.
We could.
on this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought it up, but let's set some time aside during the upcoming workshop, to talk about this.
Okay, that sounds good.
Does that
Yeah,
work?
fine with me.
Does that work for you, Jerry?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, any other board comments? So we'll make that a action item for the next workshop. revision or whatever to discuss. Okay, and we'll figure out some language for it. Review of the minutes of October 16th. A motion to accept the minutes.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion. I know I wasn't here. On page 2, I was a little bit confused under the collection system, where it says that Mello informed the board that there has been no response from the Netarts Water District. I thought that was the fact that our lawyers never sent it to them.
We didn't find that out till afterwards.
Okay,
I didn't find that out till after.
after
Yes.
the board meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, I understand.
That's why it's not in here.
I just hate to put something on them that they're not responsive when we find out that it wasn't their fault.
Which I was gonna clarify tonight.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
good, good. Anybody have anything else?
And it seemed good to me.
All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes,
Aye.
say aye. And I'm abstaining since I wasn't here. Financial statements as of October 31st. Motion to accept the financial statements.
So moved.
Second, I'll second. Discussion.
Okay, all right. All right, so, okay, so you have two financial statements. The 2-page one, this is generated by our computer system, okay? That's what this one's generated. This one is accurate. This one tells you what was budgeted, what was received. Now, this one here is not a complete document. This one that the district had forever, since I've been here anyway. The auditor doesn't like this because you have to force numbers in. It's not accurate at all. I mean, we could sit here and pick through the pages. If you look at, let's do a quick one. If you look at page 1, under adopted budget, you drop down and you see where it says $2,012,615. That is not a correct number. That leaves out on our budget, that leaves out the $16,000 taxes estimated to be received. But if you turn and you go to page 2, total expenditures, under the first column, it gives you the correct number. So go on your where you're cutting. Yeah, so you see the 212. Okay, now you go to that one. Now you go down to total expenditures under the first column. Under the first column, right there in the total expenditures. Bring your finger up a little bit. Right there. Okay, that is an accurate number. That matches the budget that you adopted. So the problem is not all of the information on here is accurate. If you were to give this to an accountant, he wouldn't be able to figure it out. So this, and we can have Erin jump in here anytime she views this more than I do. This is everything that's on our adopted budget. You're just used to seeing everything broke down into individual line items. On the new document over here, it's broke down into the categories for the total budget.
So what's the difference between a black ink and the light
Your blacks are your totals. So you have your first column. At the top is your adopted budget. So if you look at your adopted budget, those numbers will match what's over here. And then your actuals are what you've received. So to date, so if you look under the new 2-page document here, and you look under general fund, it says 2,028,615. That's what was adopted. Actually, what we have brought in on that is $617,519 today. You're not going to find that on here.
So,
I want to, first of all, back up, revise the, what we're doing here, and basically for discussion, first of all, combine these two financial statements, which we didn't have B when we said, when we called for it. So what I'd like to do is combine the two, and then you discuss with us what you want to see for the future, and we can vote on that as a separate action.
So what I would like to see is really, I've said this at many meetings, I usually just go to the last page, page 8.
All right,
That tells you exactly what's in your bank account.
all right.
So what I've always faced is the board thinks because the budget's adopted, you don't have that money in the bank. That money is brought in over the next 12 months. So what our goal, what Aaron and I's goal was for you guys to look at these two. And we'd like to phase out this one or as much of this old one you're used to seeing and phase in this one. I don't expect you to do it tonight or even complete next month because you're going to have to get used to reading this one.
Which financial statement are we approving as a board this evening?
So I think this evening you're going to approve the one that you're used to seeing.
Okay,
Tonight, this one's a sample for you guys to look at. This is the first time you've seen it. Take it home, look at
so
it.
there's really no board action required
No.
on item B.
No, but you guys were wondering why there's two. There's two. So this is one that we put in the packet so you can start looking at it and,
Right, and it's just for discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have the original,
yes,
so
so,
we're open for discussion on it. Any questions?
so the
Whatever.
new budget summary won't have the line items, so we won't see that anymore. What if we like seeing it?
the only one on all the line items that you look at from month to month that are accurate is under, personnel services. That's the only line that actually
I hate
matches
to,
that budget.
bringing in the word, the only thing that's accurate, but everything else is not accurate. That it kind of bothers me as far as what we're saying and what we're approving at times. I mean, does that make sense to you that what I'm saying, or maybe I'm not making it clear?
That's why he's changing it.
Yeah,
Do you remember, was it last year when Craig looked at this and tried, and he came up,
yes,
you know, and it looked bad, like, you know, we were missing money. That's because this is something that was done 30, 40 years ago by previous boards. They wanted everything broke down into lines. If you were to look right now, you would see that, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this so we can move on because you're not, well, under the first page, under total receipts, it says on your percentage 27.86. That's not correct. If you look at the other one, it'll tell you that you're at 34%. So
I'm all for wanting things to be accurate. On the old form, for example, on page 7, on the low income, we can see that we have 6,100. That we budgeted to receive $200 this year, is that correct? And we've received 35 so far.
Yes.
On this form, the new form, it looks like we have a $6,265 hole, which is not
This form
Right.
shows actually what's in the account.
It's a grant for the 6,000. We'll get that fixed.
okay.
With that over here.
The 6,000.
Oh, yeah.
So what other lines? The other thing that I always like looking at in this thing are the historic connections and and what connections we've had this year, where they are. Is that going to go away?
There's no budgetary reason for it. There's no audit reason for it. There's nothing for the board to, other than historic. Now, you can take any of the pages that you want to keep and we can attach
Like
to
for you.
this. So if you look, the page that I find most important, page 8,
Right.
that tells you what's actually in your checking account and.
And you
what the-
attached it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that we can attach any of the pages that you want, that you believe are important, or. So those have nothing to do with where we're at financially or anything like that. That's just more of a history thing.
Mhm. Well, it's not only, it's history, and it's like the new connections this year. I'm always curious where they are, and it's just information.
So what I'd like to do is go ahead and call for a vote on the item A, the financial statements. All in favor of the financial statements, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Now that that's done, I think the new financial documents, and we changed this to discussion from
Mhm.
board action. I think over the course of the next month, if any board member wants to provide input as to what they think ought to be attached to the new statement, please do so that we can discuss at next month's board meeting.
So this was not intended for the board to make a decision tonight. We wanted you to review it, kind of get used to see if you understand it. And then if there's anything that you want transferred from this document that you like to look at, like you'd be like page 7, I like page 8, then we can definitely do that.
John,
Yes,
as we're doing that over the next month, I just want to be sure, and you alluded to this, I think already, Dan, that the new format will still comply with what we're giving to the audit folks, because I know we get these dings, and then we tell them basically we cure it with board oversight. I just want to make sure that the new format is going to continue to cover what we're telling the state we're covering on our audit points.
What I like about the new one, this is what the auditor looks like. This is what you'll be approving. It will now match, the documents will now match what you're approving with what the auditor audits and what's turned in the state.
well, and Jerry's comment is well taken in that I think the auditor needs to be reassured that we as a board are looking at what we need to look at to follow the financial actions of the sanitary.
And that was his request, Aaron and I, to get to the
Okay.
board,
Okay,
because if you're approving this, and it doesn't match what the audits are, then you're not really approving the financial. Even if we have to just for now, make this page 1 or something on top of
It's
this.
going to be an adjustment.
Yes.
So I don't know if you need to make any adjustments of it for next month.
Wait, this one.
Maybe we'll just bring a model before the board that would include whatever the board members would like to attach to it for their own interests or observations. Will that work?
Works. I'll look at it. I'll get back to you.
And do you have a note that the chief?
Yes.
Okay,
So another question on this. Is this easier to do?
I just print it.
Yeah.
So it's a time saver.
I don't have to input any numbers. I
Really?
just print that.
This
directly
one is
from
on,
her.
they have to input every number in.
Really? That's great. That's good.
I think for accuracy and what you're approving, once you get used to reading that, we can start phasing out pages of the other ones that, I mean, you guys don't look at every single line item anyway.
Right.
And then it's less work for the office, less printing we have to do.
Yeah, I-
Plus you're approving every month what the auditor sees you approve.
very good.
okay. Next item is the bank reconciliation board order for review.
So there's that one eye popping and big number, 28,000, 210.70, but we knew about that. That was the stuff we had in order last month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was for our new system right there.
Yeah.
And this also, we also have, these parts are also in inventory too. Lights, flower, and things like that. Because they used up everything we had this last one.
I didn't know whether you said that eventually, maybe it was related to something else, that you were gonna see what some of the other users' problems they were having or something. Was it this item? Was it the UV system?
So the UV system that we use, the Wetico,
Right.
we're under that annual contract repair, we get to 12% off. We're not the only users of this item provided Wetico maintenance people, that we're not the only ones that are having problems with it. It's not the actual process equipment, it's the actual way that Wetico allows their people to work. So they don't come here, make the repairs and the maintenance. They're on a tight time schedule, so they're not here long enough. And I don't think that Wetico, Xylem are following their own agreements. We had to sit down, Brian and I met with them on the audio conference, and they're not meeting that contract. So they did send somebody in for a week, 3 days, and they did keep them here. We didn't pay for all that. We paid for the parts. But that's what we're working through. It's not really a failure equipment, and if you don't get it maintained correctly, then the equipment fails. If that makes sense. And that's what we're up against right now. The system is fully operational now. The last tech did a great job getting 99.9% of it operational. We only have 2 lamps that aren't working right now.
Okay,
So in the last month meeting, the minutes say after a brief discussion with the board, the board would like Mello to call around to other Wetico customers to see if they're having similar issues with technicians.
Yes.
And what did you find when you did that?
What I just said, they're having issues with their technicians. Not really. I mean, is it a wide product a bad product? Or is it, we found out it's bad service?
Okay. So it's the way Wetico's scheduling their service
Yeah.
people.
So
And it's not isolated to us.
hate to be a stickler, we need to go figure this out. And then
Yeah.
what we're discussing here should be part of the
Yeah,
maintenance summary.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
That was my only question.
District report. We've already covered a couple of items, I guess.
Yeah, I think normal. Okay, as usual, top, the district, the treatment plant's running really well. We got a little dirtier this month, but we have been running historically low flows. And so we're struggling to keep the treatment plant operational at its current level because the storms will come and we can't build the microorganisms up that fast. So we're running on the higher edge of a little bit what I'd call dirty. But if you look at this, it's not bad on it. It's a 30-30 permit. So this is really, really nothing.
So having occasional huge storms is not the
It,
best.
it helps us. No,
Okay.
the storms help us because our flows are below design.
Yeah.
Which is troublesome. We can't just go shut basins down and then start them up the next day when, you know, you have a storm where people decide to show up for a holiday or something. So the district has contacted on collections. The district's contacted tax lot 300. Brian informed them that they will have, our surveyors will be out sometime mid-December to survey that, to verify where the easement's at in conjunction with where the sewer line is at. And we have permission for them to enter anytime they need to. So off what John was saying earlier, what I did receive a email back, and I think I attached the attachment. Netarts Water District wasn't avoiding us or ignoring us. Our legal office didn't get the IGA draft sent off. So when I contacted our lawyer and asked if they heard anything, he said he didn't know, so he checked with the office, well, it didn't get sent out. So whose fault in that office did it, I don't know. But once it was sent out, I received an email the next day from the manager at the water district. And I was pretty pleased. The tabs down here. Did the board read the
In fact,
email? So if you read the email from Justin Knopf, I think his name, the district manager, they're dropping the $50 charge. So every time we have to go out and open a hydrant and fill up with water. As long as we purchase our own equipment, which we will, he sent me links to what equipment they would prefer us to buy for flow meter readings. And the requirements for the flow meter, and then the price that he's saying $4.50 per thousand. And so it looked pretty agreeable. I was actually, the manager's not saying no, but the manager also said it's got to go to their board of directors. I don't know why they have to go, they can't look at this month, but it's December.
They don't have enough for a quorum this month. I only know that because I'm dealing with some separate issues.
Okay, well, he didn't write that in here, but anyway, so it'll be at December's board meeting that they have before we hear anything back, if it's acceptable to this. So his request on here for us to do, I find completely reasonable.
Well, and the only reason I made that comment earlier was because prior, it seemed like the water district was very slow to respond. And finally got back to us after we asked them multiple times. But this time, for this particular item, it was us through our legal counsel that was not being responsive to them. And it was not them not being responsive because they didn't have it. So that was why I wanted to bring that up, that they did indeed respond once they had the document.
Yeah, quite quickly too.
Yeah.
Now, that was the manager.
And they did not respond to all the stuff we did to try to get through to them before we sicked our lawyers on them. So let's not make them look too good here.
So, but remember, what's not the board, this is just the manager that responded.
Yeah.
He still has to, yeah, so there's still, so his board of directors, I don't think if they know, I don't know if they know yet or not. But from the manager's point, I thought his response was reasonable, his request of us. Are there any questions on that? So the IJ is moving now.
Good.
So we're having issues with the main pump station and on one set of pumps, flow failures. We are trying to figure it out if it's electrical in the panel or something physical with a pump. So this has been ongoing on and off. We've been troubleshooting this for years. It's just now becoming more frequent that the flow fails happen. Which, when we get a flow fail, the pump station is still fully operational. The guys just have to go down, reprime the pump, clear the fault, and put the pump back in service. So I just want to let the board know, I don't know if we're gonna have to look at upgrading that control panel or if there's a pump issue. Because right now, as I was looking at it, is you have a mechanical issue on your check valves and stuff. We've put new flaps in, we've maintained it, and we don't know if it's holding prime. So we slept some more troubleshooting. But if we have to change the check valve, that's $8,000 to $10,000. We have to rebuild a pump. That's going to be $20,000 to $30,000 minimum. So I just want the board aware that that expenditure is coming. It is a problem we have to get fixed.
So there's two sets of pumps down there, right?
Yeah, there's
And
4
this-
pumps.
Right. And this is one.
Just one side.
One side.
This is isolated only to one side. And we ran cross-tie tests, so we can run, instead of 2 pumps like this, we can run a pump, cross it over to this one. We have valving and controls to do that. And it's starting to look like we're isolating it down to a wet pit pump on pump train 1. So that's where we're working this problem backwards. But the pump station is operational. There's nothing wrong with it. And we have the brand new pump down here ready to go.
And you said it might be a control panel? It's,
The reason, because it is erratic how there's no, if it sits for 4 hours, it can lose prime and then we have that problem. It could happen after it sits for 10 minutes. It could happen. I mean, right now, to me, it's acting like an electrical issue. There's something in the panel that's getting weak. It's causing the pump to shut off. But I did witness yesterday or the day before when I was down there, that when the wet pit pump started, it didn't even open the check valve. So that could be a pump issue. It could be a combination of a couple of things. We just haven't got it troubleshot down to exactly what it is yet.
is that same control panel? It's like, is there a control panel for each pump or,
It's a control panel for all the pumps, yeah.
but it's only doing, the problem seems to be with one of the pumps.
Just on the one side, yes.
So that would suggest that it maybe isn't the control panel.
Yeah. We've been troubleshooting this because it was so, it didn't come at any particular time. So if it's something mechanical,
Yeah.
usually it would do it every time, but it's not doing that. It's kind of sporadic.
Yeah.
So we'll keep working. I just wanted the board aware that since that is an expensive pump station,
Yeah.
that we are gonna have to do some maintenance or repair down there. Under the treatment plant, back to the UV, we discussed the maintenance agreement with Letico. I'm trying to have a conversation with their maintenance manager about this contract. I've sent the emails. He's not responsive. His assistant is. She doesn't know why he's not responding, but they're not fulfilling, in my opinion, they are not fulfilling the agreement that's on that. So,
And it was your feeling that other people are having the same problem.
yeah, they are having the same problem. Even the tech was frustrated in saying that they're having these same problems because they're not given enough time. Their manager will call them and tell them, change their flight and leave, so we don't get the full 8 hours.
So Woodco is trying to save money.
I think so.
And where are they located again?
The office with Jenny, and it's over in,
Down in California. John, which is the main supervisor or manager, he's on the East Coast, South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere in that area. And the techs are from anywhere, any state. They were all over the place. So we actually had one come from Canada.
part of what we're suffering from is, they don't have enough techs. So low staffing, so they're trying to stretch them out thin to cover everybody. That's what it looks like to me. Because these techs will fly in from Canada, they fly them in from all over. And they usually mail in parts, or they'll mail in their tool bags, whatever tools they're gonna need. They'll actually mail them here first. So these techs aren't anything local. It's another issue.
Super efficient.
Not at
Dan?
all. Yeah,
I think the reason that we suggested that you contact other local or other groups that are making use of this service to find out if they're having a similar problem was to see whether there might be some utility or advantage to approaching them as a group or bringing the group together to find our common issues so that when we're going to them for a response, it's just not us on our own, it's a group of customers. Does that approach have any appeal to you, or is that too?
so I think what you're talking about is like a coalition type of deal.
Yeah.
I spoke to the manager at Lafayette that runs the same type of UV system. He's sharing his same frustrations that we have here. We've got to get, we're all emailing, Seaside is, not Seaside, Cannon Beach. It's also emailing the manager, I'm emailing the manager, and Lafayette is emailing the manager with the same complaints.
I think what I was thinking of, I mean, that's good, but it's still a bunch of individual complaints, probably being dealt with one-on-one with each complaining party, where if we actually had some kind of communication signed by all of the ones we've talked to who are having the same problem, then they know we're talking with other customers, and this becomes more than individual customer complaints. This is a group, action, and maybe a group that can speak with one voice and get get a broader or more targeted fix to it. And that's probably just being too lawyerly, but in this situation, it occurs to me that if it keeps going like this and the other groups are having the same problem, then we get one lawyer that speaks for all the group and approaches them about the breach of their contract that appears to be happening, not just with us. And maybe that helps pierce through to the manager that you're not getting the attention of. That's just a suggestion. I'm not telling you how to handle it, but I think that's why I had you contact the other groups.
Which was my goal, but I've discovered that the managers I know at these other cities that run these have retired. So I'm talking to new people that have no background experience in this yet, and they seem a little unsure to rock the boat. So I'm gonna have to talk to them a little more. Otherwise, they haven't been in the job long enough to experience long-term issues like we have.
Okay, I was not telling you what to do. I was saying, that would be the first step, and then it would be up to you what you think is effective. We're not gonna micromanage your dealing with them, but it was just a thought I thought I would toss out in case it becomes more relevant later.
Okay. No, that's what I'll work on, is with the other places I know local that have, or within Oregon that run the Wetica system.
Just curious, how do they charge hourly then if they're not like out of Portland and they charge to drive over here. If they're sending somebody in from Canada, I guess they build that into their hourly rate or something?
Yeah, it's already in the rate. And, so that's why it's scheduled once every 6 months.
Yeah, very expensive.
It's expensive, yeah, yeah. But you see how much, when the maintenance isn't done correctly, we just paid $28,000 for parts. Because we should have had other parts already here, but we're now experiencing failures that we've never experienced here before. Things wear out, contacts, electrical stuff. So we're not Wedeco experts, and we can change lamps, we can do cards and stuff. But a lot of this requires even engineering. These guys have even talked to Wedeco's engineers on problems when we can't get it fixed any other way. So, I get a hold of Xylem if I have to, which Xylem owns Wedeco.
So we're kind of guinea pigs out here.
Well, we're not really guinea pigs. I think we're suffering what the rest of the cities are suffering.
Yeah.
Is they don't have enough staff, technicians to do this. The one that did a great job this last time, it was his last day. He quit. So that gives him even, more shorthand. So,
So just so I'm clear, Wedco is the UV treatment
Yeah,
system?
yeah.
And Xylem is the whole.
is the parent company.
Yeah.
So,
So Xylem owns Wedco.
Yeah.
But
so we do
Wedeco-
have contacts at Wedeco that are higher up over top of people that run Wedeco.
Okay.
And that's how we got a huge discount, and the parts would have been more. So we did have to go over Wedeco's manager's head this last time. So we are working on it, but the UV system is back up. Like I said, the only problem we have right now is we still have 2 lamps that won't come back on. But out of 54 lamps,
72.
72 lamps, 2 are down. But we're not using a lot of electricity, so it's not running at 100% all the time. The lower Avalon is, I know this probably looks like a typo that I did, but that's really how it states. The lower Avalon pump station pre-design was approved by DEQ to move into final pre-design. It will stay in pre-design status till the board gets gets the final pre-design, and then you approve it, then the pre will fall off. So it'll stay that way until it reaches board approval. So it wasn't that I didn't know how to type, that's exactly how it is right now. So as of 11/3, the final pre-design has been submitted to DEQ. I don't expect a quick turnaround like the last one. This could take probably into January before the review comes back. So, but we are moving. The next thing I have is for the automation group. And I think that I've talked to the engineers, I've talked to TAG. Some of this I think we can pay for out of capital resource, not a capital resource, out of system development, for the development of the Avalon pump station. So you have 2 before you. The first one that I have on mine is the $8,682. That is to fully go internet at the main pump station. And that will be our test before we integrate that into our new pump station. So I want to get started on that, get it turned over to what's called the POSI system, which our phones and other stuff is on. And that's what it will be to. Oh, that's what he said something. So this is strictly for the main pump station. The second one is to do an audit of our SCADA system. It is over 13 years old, And a lot of parts of it are not compatible with the new control panels that we have. So in order to get that back, we need to have the automation group come in, and I need them to do a complete audit of all of it so we can incorporate whatever changes or upgrades we need into the new control panel for the new pump station. That makes sense?
So then what will it cost to actually execute what needs to be done? If this is.
We won't know until the audit's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So at the next step after this, TAG will come back. They'll write us a proposal or, a report on what control panels are adaptable, which ones are not. But, this needs to happen because we've changed out so many control panels that a lot of the, monitoring is not transferring over.
But this $8,000 will completely update the
The main pump station, not the control panel, but it will update all of the, system over to the internet, and we won't have radio. We're gonna have to eventually phase out radios. That's what we're eventually gonna have to do. We get too many comms failures from them. Storms, trees have grown over the years. So when we have to start daisy chaining them, so we have to bounce a signal, say from Oceanside to the Capes, one, and then the Capes two, and then back up to here. If you lose one of the Capes pump stations, now you've lost telemetry to the rest of your pump stations behind them. And if you go internet, it's individual. Plus, it's live at that point. You don't have to wait for it to pull each side every 45 seconds to a minute. So if something happens live, we'll see it. So it's eventually, it's gonna have to be upgraded, but this will get us started to know what we're facing budgetary wise on what pump stations need to be upgraded. So I'd like approval for the main pump. This is to save money on travel, and that he's combined these to do in 1 week on one trip. So that's why I need them both approved at the same time. It just saves us money. We can break it up, but no need to pay 2 MOPE charges for this.
So what possibility is there that this $8,000 isn't enough to, is this like, this finishes the job?
This finishes main pump station, yes. And this will put it online using internet.
And you'll be able to see that the system works.
Yes. And this will give them, they'll do the audit. In the meantime, we'll be running this system so we can verify before we go to our engineers for our new pump station that this integration does it.
Okay. Hopefully, there's no surprises.
Yeah. Now, you do have internet failures every now and then,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you have a lot less internet failures than you have radio failures,
Yeah. Yep, yep.
or at least on our SCADA system.
Yeah.
So I'd like approval of the 8,682 for the main pump station. SCADA automation.
So moved.
Okay.
all in favor, say aye.
Right.
And then for the audit of our entire SCADA system, the $15,450.
So, and that's 8 days labor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At, each person about 2,000 a day, a little under 2,000 a day. Right? I mean, just as far as the cost is concerned. I'm trying to figure out how the 15,450 is going to be spent because the tasks that are laid out here. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I'd have to.
There's programming that they'll have to get into. So they're going to be sitting back there doing the program, bringing up the software.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I move that we accept the 15,450.
Second
Yep, second.
discussion? Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to point out one other thing. I can't remember who it was, asked me what SCADA stood for. I actually wrote it down on here. Anybody notice that? SCADA, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition.
Yeah.
I can't remember who asked me. Anyway, I decided to put it on there because I kept forgetting.
And Tossie is just a brand name.
Yes. Tossie's already on all of our computers and our phones and all that. The HVAC system is 99% done. All the new controllers are in. We're actually, you can see Aaron's not wearing a coat.
you got heat?
Yeah, we have heat. Yeah, we don't have no more, portable heaters aren't out. They'll be back Monday, so they finished the installation of the outside unit the week before. They put all the new controllers in, wired everything up, programmed that. So the last thing is they have to come back in. This system doesn't have like a main control board screen inside anymore. We'll access it off our computers. It'll be tied into our like server system.
So who outweighs each other on them? You guys fight on the computer, goes up and down.
So this is the first time we've ever had heat in the bathrooms.
Right.
They discovered they were never hooked up.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
I
all
think
these
it's
years
good.
they were never hooked up. So,
No,
right, it should have full completion by the end of next week,
Very good.
but it is operational now and it is working.
So let it freeze.
If it freezes, I'm not so worried about putting heaters everywhere so we don't burst any pipes in this building, because it gets pretty cold. Leanne's computer has been updated. We took the old one, completely cleared it. We put a separate workstation now out there that's got a computer tied into internet, it's got a screen. And that's all I have. Or have any questions?
if, no questions, let's see the old business. Avalon Pump Station project, I think you've already, I don't know if you have any additional comments on that.
No, we're still in design. We settled on placement of everything in the pump station. We just gotta wait for DEQ to sign off.
Workshop update, I've left it on the agenda. I don't think anything has really happened with it. I guess we'll go over what we have and then maybe schedule another session.
Let's take a look at next month. Let's take a look at the agenda that we developed for the last one.
Okay. Yeah, we'll bring that up.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Oh, we should do that and then next month make a decision on the time. Give us plenty of lead time on that.
Okay. So, all right. Do you have all that? NOSD and WD IGA draft, you already discussed that, I think. Then response to Pam Zielinski. I know last month at the meeting I wasn't here, you as a board had decided that Dan should respond to Pam. I guess there was some discussion as to what she had said or not said to Simeon, I guess, one board to another. And I just was thinking, and we can always go back in another direction, that it'd be cleaner if we just sent something to their board saying, hey, one of your board members inquired Pam of Simeon, and here's our response. And it's based on a study that was done, and we're not planning to change it. Now, Dan can elaborate further. He was at training with their manager and study. What study? We just find out what other people have done and we come up with a number. Well, that's real great, except the developer will just chew you up. But with having a study that we've done, you know, I challenge Pam or Sarah Absher, who was infoed on one of the emails, to say, all right, you want us to reduce it? Show us what your study is. Show us what you've done. And I don't think they really can.
It's more than a study.
Yeah,
It's a,
It's a methodology
the
that
methodology.
supports
Right.
what your SDC.
but I mean,
Fees are.
it's built on engineering,
Correct.
and we spend a lot of money having
Absolutely.
a bunch of engineers taking a look at it all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
It's engineered.
The consultants and
So-
they've done a lot of these studies. And so,
yeah, but it's more than a study.
correct.
It's because we voted on it to agree that that was what we were gonna do. And there are laws, state laws that we have to adhere to for future expansion.
Yes. That's a key point too. You take into consideration for future expansion.
And it's part of our facilities plan.
So,
It's
and
more than a study, is what I'm
well,
trying to get
and
at.
I use the term study, but in the letter, I used methodology.
Okay,
So, my,
I like the letter. I like the letter.
it's okay. So, if the board's all right with it, we'll send this letter out. The only minor change is in the first paragraph, second line. You used a period between members and Simeon. I think a comma is there.
What the manager told me was that
See,
they weren't considering a long-term reduction in SDC. They wanted to do what's called a fire sale. And I don't even know how you would do, what would be the reasoning behind a fire sale of just so many lots and then that's it.
This is a Pam Zielinski idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So, he wouldn't know what the district's thoughts were. And I said, I've never even heard of an SDC fire sale before, but I'll run it by my board at the next board meeting. So there's really no real plan, but he assured me that their board didn't want to do anything until they see what we were gonna do.
no, I think you did good there. Send it off.
I'd put a comma on both sides of my name.
so
before and after.
can I have a motion to send the letter as written to the Oceanside
So moved.
board?
So moved.
So I'm fine with this. Last month, we said that Dan was gonna send it. Now you're sending it.
Yeah.
Is it more effective that way from your perspective?
Well, what I'm thinking is your communication was to a board member of their board.
Right.
And Dan is the superintendent, but he's not a board member.
Right.
And this was
Okay.
from one
no,
board
that makes
member
sense.
to another.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I've heard rumor that their board isn't really that supportive of what Pam is doing. I don't. But here it just says, if a board member talked to our board member, here's our response.
I like it.
Okay, John?
Yes,
Yeah, we talked a little bit offline that
right.
I'm leery of this kind of communication continuing where our board and their board are writing each other's letters. If this is going to continue, I will, at that future point, suggest pretty strongly that our communications need to go through our executive rather than from board to board. This is fine, but if it's going to turn into a conversation, then I think the conversation needs to be between our staff members, not board to board.
Okay. All right, but you're okay with this particular letter? All right, So all in favor,
I don't have a second.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sewer availability request, fire district. Uh, There is Dan and Aaron put together some information about how the issues surrounding the establishment of sewer service for the property might be handled. I think, I don't know, we could just open this up for short discussion. At the board meeting, I wasn't here, that I was not present at. The whole board was needed, I believe, Jerry, to then perhaps vote on the issue. And it was approximately 2 to 3 months ago that we had all the historical documents present. And I know probably board members have not looked at those in a couple months, but as far as the total fee, the SDC is 13,000 something and change.
Yeah.
Minus $100, which the original owner of the property paid the $100 way back when in what, the 60s? Excuse me?
77, 78.
77, 78. So the question becomes, where do we go from here? I don't know. And for this, you're welcome to comment, Chief. I mean, if we do bring this to a vote this evening, of course, you would abstain. But this is a freewheeling discussion and anybody is welcome to offer any comments as to how they think this might work.
This plan for us is, I think what Dan came up with is, and Aaron came up with is much smarter than my request. And I really, in kind of talking about what we've talked about with Pam and the developers, I don't want to create any situation for the sanitary district where there's an open loophole for developers to come in and say, well, you gave preferential treatment to the fire district, so you should also give us preferential treatment. So I think this is a fantastic plan for us if it works for the sanitary district.
Or want any background on how to come up with this?
Sure.
So we already have policies that, policy that if you let your user fees lapse, usually I think it's 12 months, you have to pay back up to back user fees to retain your system development charge. Or you can pay the new system development charge. Well, you can get a credit for your old one, $100 off 13,850. Or you can allow them, or you can allow the fire department. We've never done 3 years. I didn't realize it had been that long. But you can allow them to pay back all the user fees to retain their SDC. And as you can see, it's quite a bit less because I did have a home hooked to it before. So it's not like this isn't bare land, it's new development. So it doesn't fall under our current SDC charges unless they don't want to pay this and they're subjected to pay the full SDC minus the $100 fee. So this seems reasonable and within how district policy is and how the district has handled these type of things in the past. Except for one caveat, I've never done one 3 years before.
Thoughts, Jim?
Oh, I think this is great. if you're, amenable to this,
Yes, absolutely.
then I would support it, and I would hope that we all would.
So, thoughts? Simeon,
Seems
Jerry,
reasonable.
thoughts?
It seems reasonable to me. Dan was a little taken aback by the fact that it was 3 years. So basically, this could be a little bit of a new precedent in how this is applied, not just discovering an old method that works out well for us. So my gut says we should try to frame this in a way that makes the 3 years kind of a special concession to the nature of the fire district, to comity, to getting alongness of the special districts serving the same area, and so that a developer couldn't come in some situation where there's a 3-year gap and try to do the same thing in a way that we wouldn't feel so good about. That's my only comment. I'm absolutely for doing this for the fire district, but the reason I feel so good about it mostly is because it is for the fire district.
So from here forward, can you take this document and work it into something that could be presented to the board to be presented to the fire district?
Beyond this, you wanted to, are you asking for an invoice?
I don't
To
know.
invoice the fire district for the arrears? User fees?
Well, a little more of an explanation for the fire district to mull it over. I mean, I don't know. Looking at this piece of paper, I don't know if I just was given this, what is it telling me? I mean, what do you think, Chief?
I'm okay with it, and I've explained Dan's plan to our board, and they seem very supportive because it's really helping us out.
Okay.
And since the existing hookup was there, and the location of the new resident house is basically on the same footprint as the old house, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of changing pipes or anything like that.
Do an invoice though, if that's cleaner for you.
That's some, yeah,
Well, I think John was looking more for an explanation of this.
like a narrative, but we're okay. What I heard, from Jerry is that if we need to put something in writing to kind of say in a narrative that this was, this exclusion of 3 years, or this 3-year mark was because of the fire district and not a normal thing, I'm totally okay with that too.
Yeah, I think, was there anything in writing from the fire district asking us to address this situation?
Well, just what I'd given you last time, which was more of a request to,
It was a waiver.
waiver of the,
It would have been writing, right?
Yes, it was in writing.
So just a writing in response saying this is what we've mutually agreed to do and this is why. So it's just correspondence in response to their written correspondence. And in the process, we get an explanation that helps us exclude other things in the future.
And we put all that in the file. We'll have it in the
Yeah.
file.
Basically, what you're saying, Jerry, is we'd be responding, I guess it is, to their September 3rd letter to the sanitary district.
Yeah, although I'd phrase it as it's a response that we came to in conjunction with the fire district. So it's just like, okay, here's our response. Here's our mutually agreed upon resolution of your request.
Should it state in there, Jerry, that it's the fire district has agreed to pay the arrear user fees on that? You're gonna also request no user fees going forward.
whatever
Yeah.
is good for the district.
Well, the district already doesn't charge you for your other,
The monthly.
Okay,
yeah,
so if that's normal procedure.
that is normal procedure for the
Then
fire.
then that would be great. I just don't want to open up anything where not a specific person, but.
So I just think the whole thing needs to be in writing.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
yeah, you're right, yeah.
I totally agree.
Excuse me?
Draft it. Who's gonna write the response?
I'll sit down with
Okay.
Dan. I mean, that's all right, if that's agreeable.
Agreeable with me.
Agreeable.
And don't be bashful, Jerry, if you'd like to send in an email or suggested language.
If you want to run it by me, I promise not to be picky. But, and you also can do it without running it by me. John gets what I was talking about.
Whatever we come up with, Jerry, we'll run it by you and then bring it back to the board next month.
Yes.
Does that sound right? Okay.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, because you're bringing in the manufactured home soon.
Yeah, mid-December.
So I'm gonna let you connect anyway.
Okay.
I mean, this paperwork will
Good.
catch up.
Good.
That's okay with the board. That's how I normally handle it. Bring it in and connect it.
Okay. Many thanks to the board from the fire district.
And you still have to come get his generator.
And yeah, load that in your pickup.
Sure. Let's give her to get in your pickup.
Okay. We have exceeded the time that I'd like to have the meeting go. But we have the auditor's report. I guess that's just for review. Does anybody have any particular comments?
I want to make sure I understood something. The finding 2501, that's a question, I'm just making sure I understand it. That when we receive the insurance payment back on the blowout, we essentially, we put it back in the account that we paid the money out of. And the auditor is saying you can't do that. You got to put it, it's got to be income.
I read it.
We've discussed this before.
And then what happens to the arrears? The payment, right? Like how did the book show that the income, because the reason you put it back in the
It's
account
not-
was that it's zeroed out.
It's not in.
Yeah, but the auditor wants it to be income, right?
Well, what it is, you can't put I'm gonna call it a refund. You can't put money into a service. There's no place to debit it out. We put it directly back in like we budgeted, and that's not what we should have done. So it should have would have it.
It'd been in a revenue line
Yeah.
item, so your bottom line would not go negative. It's just that one, you had to have them separate.
Even though we paid it out of it
Yeah.
anyway,
Here,
we don't have, because it also, when I talked to him about Jerry's, he'd asked me about it, I think it was a couple of years ago, when we pay out for, engineering, and then we get paid back from the developer, it goes into general fund, and it doesn't go back in to our engineering legal line item, which looks like we're spending more when it comes to the budget, which I thought what Jerry said made perfect sense to me. It doesn't to the auditor. We can't do it that way unless we add a revenue line on that fund.
so it will go back into capital resource. But that line item might show negative, but your total.
It'll all balance out. at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't see, from the auditor's point of view, I don't see why that's easier to understand than what you guys did.
It's
Yeah.
what do they call it, something practice.
Yeah, whatever.
It's,
Yeah, that's an expense line item, you can't take it in.
It makes perfect sense to do it,
It-
to me, because it doesn't reflect that the budget is being spent where you would have to raise user fees to make up for that, those line items being depleted.
But next
So
time,
you'd have a large cash carryover on your general fund when you put it back into there. But your other capital resource or something like that would be showing it as a depletion.
It does have other revenue and capital resources.
Yeah.
So we can put it into other revenue in the correct fund next time, if that ever.
Yeah, you just can't put it back directly in the line item. Has to go in.
confusing.
I still don't, I'm not an accountant. So. And the proof that I'm not an accountant is that I had to read the first paragraph of their at least 4 times. The disclaimer of what it was they were disclaiming. That they, accordingly, we do not express an opinion on the effectiveness of the district after. Anyway, that is the thing that you want to lead with. These people are crazy. Anyway.
So, we need to get out our response. And so this is a draft of, our answers to the 3 findings. The thing that bothers me, I don't know if they did the audit report the same way last year, but a couple pages in the September 24th letter, in which they include these 3 findings, the last page of that is they then list 3 other things that are not findings, but they are saying that this will substantially improve if you comply with it, the rules or whatever. It's like reporting of accounts receivable and accrued liabilities, non-compliance with Oregon revised statutes, public contracting violation, and excess of expenses over appropriation. Do we need to do that also or not? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Mr. Chair, just to let you know, I think it's similar boilerplate to what we also use Acuity, and our audit had very similar.
I think it's just
Descriptions.
information for the board.
Okay,
To respond on or your findings.
okay.
That's all.
So then we'll send it in. And if they say you're incomplete, that's fine. We'll make it complete.
Generally, it's just the findings.
So can I have a motion to approve this letter to be sent to the state audit folks, Secretary of State?
So moved.
Second?
Second that, but I have a question.
Yes,
The second and third one, which are repeat findings, which are just structural. We say that it's closed. that it's
Yes.
Closed. The first one, why is it still open?
well,
Haven't we addressed it?
Yeah, he told us how to correct it and we know now, so again.
but the question, the impression I got from Dan was that we're working with the audit and legal counsel to develop procedures to comply with this. Are we not, or
We've developed them, right? We know what we're doing now.
As far as I,
has it
Yeah.
been reviewed?
Our audit been reviewed by legal?
Yeah, I mean, for this item,
he's saying for how to receive money.
the impression I got from you was that you would be working with our audit folks and our legal counsel to ensure that our procedures comply with budget law in regard to this finding.
Isn't that closed, like we know.
Well-
what to do.
Well, yeah, I think the matter is closed.
Right.
But what he said to me was, if you don't follow this, he needs something from our lawyer stating that what we did was legal.
And I'll be happy to change the language to close the item. I mean, that will be fine. If the board basically agrees.
So moved or change.
Okay,
So basically it will say, we have worked with these people and going forward, we'll comply.
Yeah, when I spoke to legal counsel, they said, no, you're not supposed to put that back where you did. So don't, basically, what the auditors, he said, don't do it again.
Right.
So I didn't want him to write us a letter to that effect. I didn't want to pay for that, but
Right.
all right,
So all 3 of them will say closed when we send them there.
yeah,
With that change.
all right, we'll come up with something. and get it out. Because we're late, right?
Do we need to vote?
Yes.
Need a vote? Yeah.
Yeah. All in favor of, the letter to the Oregon Secretary of State with that one modification? Say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Votes approved. No further correspondence, executive session, none. We'll adjourn at 6:55.
I
So
will
what's
take
the
a
big
few
hole?
minutes, because you're the only.
Which one?
Okay.
I-
Yeah, your site.
Yep.
That's one of
Here,
the.
here.
real quick, 'cause I'm 7 o'clock.
But-
House more of in terms.
Right.
Or-
Like, you're excavating.
Changes need to be made.
Yes,
Okay.
the county is requiring us to put